a personalized approach, striking the right balance between human interaction and technology. And for this, I would like to invite on stage Ms. Sonali Sarma, who is Vice President Learning and Development at Adani. Giving a brief introduction for Sonali, she holds over 30+ years of experience with large manufacturing setups such as Indian Petrochemical Corporation Limited, Reliance Petrochemicals, 𝗟 Limited, ACC, and Ambuja Limited, both a part of 𝗟𝗏𝗏 𝗏𝗂𝗺, a multinational cement company with a global presence in 70+ countries, which is now recently acquired by Adani Group. She has handled manufacturing, HR, employee relationships, employee engagement, performance management, and productivity improvement projects. With this, please welcome her with a huge round of applause.
Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible? Good afternoon, and thank you. This is going to be the post-lunch non-nap session, okay? Because there was, in the panel discussion, someone said the nap session would come afterwards. So I have to kind of see to it and actually prove to you all that human interaction does matter. Because if this session was happening online right now, and you were in your offices or you were at home, I can bet that you would have kept me online, heard with one ear, and done something else with your other hands and your faculties. So it's my pleasure that I am here, you know, with you face to face. Thank you for this. Friends, the social drought that the pandemic had created, I think, got over sometime in June 2022. And I can vouch for that because one day, early morning, when I was standing in my balcony, I could listen to the twitter of young children going to school. And I had never thought that they would sound so excited. Before pandemic, they would have a difficulty to go to school. Their parents told me that they woke up on their own as if they were going for a picnic. Okay. Go back to yourselves when you went back to office, especially L&D professionals, wanting to meet those participants whom we had kind of downloaded so much over in the last 2 years with so much of webinars, wanting to meet those participants, those colleagues. Think of all your young recruits whom you onboarded possibly when they were at home or you know, through different locations, and they could not actually come to one place and get the feel of the organization. Ask them what is it that they would have preferred. And when I say all this, I come to the point that the way the pandemic has shown us that work-life balance is important, I think it has also shown us that there is a requirement for a balance between human interaction and learning technology. Nothing new, but I think it has kind of underscored the need for that balance. And my talk today is about just that. I have not carried the... So when we talk about learning, which happened earlier, and you would have heard that I've been in the industry now for 30 years plus. So I have come from a time when there was cyclo-styling. Does anyone here know what cyclo-styling was? Okay, there are a few hands. Okay. So then we always had a problem of reach and coverage. Even today in cement, where I come from, we have 30 factories, 45 sales units, and we sell in 80% of the districts of India. How are we going to reach across and see that our people learn, are involved, and not only learn, that they become capable? How are we going to do that? Okay, this has always been a problem. It was more so earlier when there was no technology. Many times we were not seen as equal opportunity learning departments. We had those citadels of education, universities, where some employees got a chance to come to sometimes. But most of them who were in the shop floor or in the field felt that this was not for them. Okay, and by the time their chance came, possibly they would have finished 5 years of work X. That was the truth. Learning budgets were never enough, because how could you reach out through traditional means, classroom means, all the time through facilitation, through people across industries like this? So our solutions were time-taking, sometimes they were non-standard because we depended so much on facilitators that when it happened across different units, it was not necessarily standard. Time from logistics. L&D professionals spend so much time on logistics, and possibly our attention to content, on the way people learn, onto business outcomes was very less. So this was how the scenario was some years ago. Coming back to the fact that we realized that technology obviously is a great enabler for us. We as L&D professionals have to be out there with the employees all the time, how they learn with the business, and see that this is happening in a continuous basis, right? It cannot just be a one-time kind of an event. So therefore, what I have kind of sat through and thought that if I have to talk about a balance, possibly there are 4 levers that we need to understand better if we want to get this balance between human interaction and technology. So one is obviously understanding the technology market. The second is understanding our own business. The third is about how our people learn. So in every industry, every company, the way your people learn would be different. And lastly, about content treatment. Funnily enough, when I was listening to all the sessions in the morning, I could say that my session is kind of, almost a summary of everything that they've said, because you would find that, you would get an opportunity to relearn now. And possibly the Ewinghaus curve, the forgetting curve, will get a little beaten, because I am going to tell you a few things that possibly they all have said and bring it together in one shot. So these are the 4 levers that I'm going to speak about. Does anyone recall this slide? It was there in the morning. Yeah, 𝗤𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗵, and I think he's a favorite with many of us learning professionals. So understanding learning tech market, many years ago, we talked about e-learning, blended learning. We are now talking on intelligent learning. All of us, many of us rather, L&D professionals of my age, we are all digital immigrants. Okay, we are not the, and we have to kind of come up with solutions for the digital natives. So we've got to actually understand this market well ourselves. Earlier, digital learning was a type of learning. When your Excel sheet, it would say type of learning. Today, it is a way of learning. This is how it has moved. Okay. New technology, we started with LMS. And today, LMS is largely required, but it's more like a cupboard. I look at it like a cupboard, a shelf where you keep your modules. It is not interactive. It is not like the learning experience platforms where personalization is possible, where podcasts, different kinds of learning formats are possible. The way of capturing learning is different. We have moved through all this. And this is something that just not our IT guys, but all of us as L&D professionals need to understand, because we are the ones who would bring these solutions to our business. And it's tough because it's like this. The L&D market today, of L&D technology market is like this. And if I have to give you an analogy, it is just like the human assessment, psychometric assessment market. Okay? For everything that you say, there would be someone who would say, we can measure this. And you will have to wonder, what exactly do you want to measure? How much of do you want to measure? Do you want to measure it at all? Okay? Same way in L&D, we've got to know what we want to do with the technology. Okay? Study the market and then marry our needs, because the market is brimming with so many solutions and all of them look good to a novice, when you go to a mall and everything looks nice. So that is the challenge for us as L&D professionals. Then coming to understanding our own business, you would say, of course we understand our own business. But somehow, maybe you have to step out of our, and when I say you, I mean me also, because I'm always, getting to know what I should have done better as I work in this field. So your business value chain, how do you add value at every step of your business? What parts of your business are critical, which are complex, which are repeatable? Where are the areas where there's so many people involved, where there is mass and volume? The way you would use technology and human interaction also depends on that. Let me give you an example. The sales pitch in our company, in cement, is done by 3,000 people every day, day in, day out in the market, sales guys. So the pitch and the principles of a pitch are almost same. What changes it at which point of the sales process it is being made? It changes basis of the product you're selling, it changes basis of the dealer you're selling to, it changes basis on the region. So how are you going to capture this in technology? You will capture it through different e-learning modules? One way. But for us, what worked is having maybe something on sales pitch, but a sales coach. And many sales coaches, some of them who could be their own area officers or supervisors. For us, we had to do that to see that the capability was developing. Just giving them a lovely e-learning platform and even chatbots wouldn't help unless and until there was a sales coach to see and for them to even who could demonstrate when they couldn't do something well. So that's where I'm talking about understanding the way your business works. Experts and rare skills. Your business needs some experts, like for in our business, we need the control room operator who operates the kiln. This is an expert skill. Or someone who is, for example, a hydraulic expert. These skills are rare skills, they're critical skills, they're complex skills. And they need to be, you need to keep injecting these at different points of time. Here, technology helps a lot. We have VR tools which help us do, or even simulation tools which help control room operators do a better job before they actually sit on the control room to take care of the kiln. However, again to underline, if we had just simulators, okay, would someone get totally trained on a simulator and then go and handle a kiln, a cement kiln? So you would also still put this person for 6 months under a coach. That's how you understand where you need what and how you balance it. It reminds, anyone has seen this Netflix series on The Good Doctor? Yeah. So you see that in one place there is a critical heart surgery which is to happen, and they have this whole augmented reality, there is this whole heart on which they can actually operate. And they get to a precision of 99% success on that heart before they go to the patient. However, there I realized that there is a coach and there is an intern. There is a doc and there is an experienced doc and an intern. It's not just the intern who's doing it. Okay? So that's where, for the last 15 days I've been keeping and looking at where you find this balance, because you're coming here and speaking, and how would you make it more real for people? The third part is, how do your people learn? In my company, people learn through relationships. They learn through cooperation. Competition is not something that they want to learn. So if I said X plant versus Y plant, they would like, okay, we are not taking part in this. Okay. So how your people learn is very important for you to know. Okay, do they like to spend time with internal experts? Do they take pride in that? Or do they say, yaar, ye iska suna hai, yaar, chhod do. All these old people, don't go to them. Okay, we can, ye jo bol raha, I will look at a module and learn. You need to get to know how your people learn, and in different departments or different functions, they may learn differently. To that extent, when we decided to bring in our LXP, we did it with the sales guys, because they were individual contributors. They were always on the go. They were across different geographies in the country. For them, peer learning was very good. They were ready to take dealer photos, pictures, video, conversations, share with each other, Before I went to the manufacturing, we piloted our learning systems with the sales guys, because we thought that they were more ready and younger, and they were digital natives. How are your people? Are they past focused, future focused? Also helps you to decide how you would interject technology, learning technology to them. The other part is the content. Someone talked about it this morning, that content is very important. Complex versus intuitive content. Now, would you spend a lot of time on compliance training? We all know we do it through e-learning modules once a year, the same thing is. But suppose you had to do a value. Like now we are a new company. I expect that we should have an offsite when we're going to talk about how do we live this company. Okay, if this is done virtually, I don't know about the authenticity and trust that would get communicated, which I think if this is done together in a place training where emotion is required. I think such topics you need to meet, you need to interact. How would you do it virtually all the time? It's a good thing that in pandemic alternatives were available, but are they the only way to go ahead? Is a thought that I leave you all with. Coming back to balancing rigor and simplicity, I have seen in learning content, okay, many times it gets dumbed down because we want to keep the learner motivated, especially e-learning content. Sometimes it is created even by companies themselves, becomes extremely simplistic. We have to realize that we have to have the responsibility of building capability and not just keeping learners interested. Okay, and when that happens, our e-learning content should also have some amount of stretch and rigor. This is a personal opinion. Smart use of macro and micro. That's also important. Macro is for when you need domain expertise, or you're joining a new role. Micro would happen when you're expert and you need spurts of small bite-sized training coming to you. That's one way of balancing macro and micro. Balance between too much and too little, and someone talked about it. How much, can anyone tell me? What is the time that one spends on learning in a week? This is a very average kind of a figure. Percentage in percentage. Any guesses? How much time does a learner in our industry spend? 2 hours? Okay. 2%. Okay, very close. Huh? 15%. Very aspirational. Say 1%. So that's around 24 minutes. Okay, now you would say, where was this survey done? Was it India? Was it US? Okay, of course it was the US. Another thing, another problem is that we don't have a lot of surveys of such kinds happening in our country. Even when I come to using used cases, technology providers give us used cases of, we've done welding, we've taught welding this way in another 5 companies. Very good. But I, as L&D, need to know that if I have taught welding to a welder through a welding research institute where he goes and he learns welding, vis-a-vis where he has learned welding through augmented reality, are their performances the same? I don't know. We don't have such use cases. Okay. So, we pay for all that content. Check in your companies how much content lies unused. So, choosing business libraries is also very important. Huh? We had a business library which was very good at IT. And we are a cement manufacturing company. So, we realized that, what do we do with this? But sometimes, one end of the stick comes up with the other, You get something, so you get something else also. But check on pay-for-use licenses. Why shouldn't we as L&D professionals then talk to tech experts and business library experts that we will pay on the usage of the content? Why do you want to pay for the whole suit and then see that 80% of it is lying just like that? Okay. And then this continuous learning, this is another thing that plagues us. It's a good thing because it helps us to bring balance between asynchronous and synchronous learning. At the same time, I have seen L&D professionals harass the participants with continuous learning. Give the participant time to assimilate. Look at the role, like we did it for senior leaders, and then we realized that we're grooming them for some successor development, and after their on-the-job training, and we were after them every week that now you have to do this. And then we realized that we're just overdoing it, our enthusiasm. We've got to give them some time. So there's some thumb rules of continuous learning also which we need to understand. Technology, only online technology, online learning is where you use technology is obviously wrong, right? Offline learning, how many times do we use polls and quizzes, or we use course management websites where people can go out, take their time for 15 days and then do some assignments. I think we need to balance both very well. And then there was this discussion on self-directed, organizational directed. The learner learns, he's bombarded. He does his bit, he or she does his bit, her bit, and then there is organizational learning which happens too. Both together, okay, give you a chance as an organization to deliver on personalized approach to learning. As an organization, we've got to get both of these things together. And if the 4 levers that we talked of, which were they? One was understanding the tech market, understanding your business, understanding how your people learn, and treating your content wisely. If we do all those 4 things well, then perhaps we'll be able to deliver good personalized learning approaches. When you have technology for it, you have people, we talked about skill directories and role directories which would give up different skills. You have multi-format learnings. We have a place where you have coaches, a learner can, through the LXP actually connect to coaches. And we have recommender systems which become intelligent based on how you learn. Just like Netflix, it knows what to push to you. So if a learner uses the platform well, then the recommender system becomes intelligent and gives the learner whatever that learner is, based on his competence and role. So all this is available. My question to all of us, and this is again a reflective question, is if we had great human interaction and balance of learning technology, would we have great learning in the organization? And I think the answer is blowing in the wind. Not necessarily. This may not lead to great capability because I think for that, beyond L&D, there is a lot in the learning culture. What kind, in your town halls, in your meetings, do leaders, are they accepting of dissent? Are they open to questions? Do they look at why a mistake was done or who made the mistake? Do you talk about innovations in your company and then penalize people who have tried something different? Do you have appraisal systems which only end up in bell curves but not in coaching? If all these other learning practices and organizational ecosystems don't work, however well we would have a balance in L&D, we would always have this stone that we carry around ourselves as L&D, that we've not been able to make the change. And therefore, for L&D, other than technology and balance, we've got to poke in our nose into organizational systems and see how we could actually change the ethos of a company. This is my humble submission to you all. Any questions?
Okay, we can take 1 or 2 quick questions. Do we have any questions?
Was it too forceful?
Okay. Yeah, hi, my name is Shishir. I represent 𝗥𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗁 Payments.
Where are you?
Here.
Yeah.
So my question is, since years, right, we talk about L&D development, right? It's still, even today, if you look at, half of the people that those are attriting, right? All the exit cases that you look at, half of them say that, hey, I don't see any growth in the company. I don't see any development, anybody who care about my development in the company, right? Though we talked about that we have put in new solutions, tech-enabled, human-enabled, everyone is trying their best, right? What's your take on this, that, hey, why we still not able to create that impact, why it is not reaching to the end user where they feel that, hey, there is somebody who's trying to help me, there is somebody who is bothered about my growth and development in the company. And
so there are 2 different ways that I would answer it. You're right, when it comes to the employee or the learner himself, he feels that he is neglected. And I've heard questions like, when we changed this from ACC Ambuja to Adani, one of our employees asked them, the new management, that do you all do L&D or do you all just send links to e-learning modules? Okay. So perhaps we've forgotten the learner and capability in the bargain of, bringing things and doing things. Also, I think that the involvement of the manager has become very minimal. Only up to, end of the year, some IDP, ho ja ke aao, ye kar lo, When for our leadership programs, when there are 25 participants and there are 25 managers who come in the kickoff because they have to ensure, okay, they have to know what is happening if they want their guys to move ahead. So that kind of attention and time, is the organization willing to give, is the question mark. And maybe if it is, then we need to choose certain areas. Not necessarily leaders, it could also be critical roles down the line, and have different, solutions for different people. Many times we don't even ask the learner how they want to learn. Okay, we just say this is personalized learning, now you can go and choose. So I think the time that we really need to invest in, and the smarter questions that we need to ask ourselves and the learner, we don't. And perhaps that's why the feeling that the capability doesn't, and I'm sure that there are companies who have actually also, found a key to this. They've done it. Even we've done it, but in isolation. Not consistently all the same. Sometimes you do well in certain places, and then you know that you've dropped the ball somewhere else. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, we have one more question.
Hi ma'am, myself Jagannath, and my question is related to culture model. Actually, I am into this field as a trainer from last 8 years, and specifically in manufacturing industries, it happens always. Many trainers are experiencing this maybe. Like if we are calling somebody to go and learn something, and we are calling you for training and all, so that time every participant have fear about the, agar mere ko nahi jama, to mere sath kya hoga? So how to tackle with that fear as a trainer?
Nahi jama in the sense?
If I will go for the training, and in assessment I will fail.
Okay, if there's an assessment.
This is related to culture actually, how to build this culture.
One is that, to answer your question on assessments, we had done some 3 years ago, 2,000 of our sales people went through a sales assessment. And there was a lot of, we knew that there would be worry. Okay. There would be worry that after this assessment, you are going to actually decide, you might change my market, you might transfer me out of the company. So what we needed to do very clearly is tell them that if we needed to do something on your performance basis, we would not spend 2 crores to assess and to build modules. We had to be as open. Okay. So we had to tell them that this whole effort is costing us so much. It is for development, to see that all Maharathis are not in one place and all the others who can't sell are in one place. We want to balance, and we want to also see that we can bring development. And if we wanted to work only on performance, we did not have to spend so much more, because we have the results with us. So you've got to, I think, it's about transparency, it's about speaking, and about at least putting 9 cards out on the table, if not 10.
Who gave this example, right? He said that when a line manager, there was an employee loss, okay? So this employee came back and he said he thought that he'll be fired that evening, and he came and wrote his resignation letter, and he went and gave it to the to that line manager, right? And he said, I think today will be my last day, so I'm putting down my papers. He said he read through the resignation letter, he tore it off, and then he put it in the bin. He said, we just invested 5 lakhs on you, go back to your thing. So I think this is what, this is very key, right? If you have to drive innovation, and this has to come, it's not a, bottoms up, but a top-down approach as well. It needs to be both ways. So how you drive the culture, because eventually, strategy, all that is great, but the culture is completely different, and it won't fly. And we should let our employees make those mistakes, even if they flunk twice. We have had multiple certifications, people flunk, but it's okay. They kind of get back at the 3rd time. Just by shitting like, yaar, kya yaar, bekar mein kyun? Why did you go and include my name in that? They're like, what Six Sigma, yaar? It's just a foundational course. And all the senior managers, by the way, I'm telling you, one of the leading MNCs. Arey, kya yaar, bhai, faltu mein kyun ye sab interventions leke aa rahe ho? So it's not just that. That's what I'm saying, right? It's all about the fear of, that's how we've been brought up here within India, right? It's all about marks, right? Nobody talks about, going and learning something. It's all about, I need to achieve 90%, 80%, 𝗕𝗲𝗏. So everybody, right? They don't focus on application of the knowledge. Rather, it's all about the outcome.
Thank you. And maybe when failure doesn't get punished, at least at the, failure is looked at from the point of view that, okay, then there would be some more peer learning happening and some other coach team. Maybe it will take time. Okay, all these things. Okay.
Great. Thanks a lot, ma'am.